Welcome back to BST, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I know that I am so far. But we got some sports to talk about. Obviously, before that, please like, subscribe, comment on our YouTube channel. Check out the shorts, YouTube shorts. Check out our TikTok page, our Twitter page for more short form content and announcements there. But on Monday night, we had the college football national championship between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think this game really just needs to be started in the first half when Ohio State was thoroughly dominating Notre Dame. Notre Dame didn't really stand much of a chance. But the crazy part is the first drive that Notre Dame took, it looked dominant. They were running the ball hard. They were doing all the things. I think they ran the ball 9 times with Riley Leonard on the first drive. Took up nearly 10 minutes right down the field and scored. So at that point, I'm like, okay, could this be a game? But then, doing that is not sustainable, running the ball that much with your quarterback. So I knew then that this game, if Ohio State could score, it probably wouldn't be close. And that's what it kind of began to form into. Ohio State scored. I think they were up like 31-7 at one point. But then, Notre Dame, give them their credit, they came fighting back. Made it 31-23. But then Will Howard, with a little bit of time on the clock, on a 3rd and 11, hits Jeremiah Smith for a big gain down to inside the red zone. So that kind of sealed the deal, sealed the failed comeback. But yeah, it looks closer than it probably was. I think Ohio State thoroughly dominated throughout. But yeah, I think the best team in college football won, and that was the Buckeyes. I predicted my bracket almost perfectly. I think I had a few mispicks here and there, but I picked Ohio State and Notre Dame to be in the final in the championship, and I predicted Ohio State to win, and they did. And I think the tiebreaker that ESPN makes you do for the total points scored throughout the entire thing, I picked 572. In reality, it was 573. So that's kind of insane. But yeah, Notre Dame, their strength is man-to-man coverage, and they were just not going to be able to do that against Ohio State. Way too difficult to do that against Ohio State and those receivers. So they were just not going to be able to do so. But Ohio State, I think when they were playing their best, and they were these past few games, they were the best in the country, no doubt in my mind. So I think they won, and they should have won. And you never know. I mean, they could get all these players back and run it back next year, see if they can win it again. But a lot of people are saying, is this the best college football team of all time because they had the hardest way to win? And that's up for debate, but they're a good one, no doubt. But I don't know if I can say that they're the best of all time. I'd still probably take 2019 LSU or one of those, whichever Miami team was really good in the 2000s, like 2001 or something. Probably any of those teams I'd probably take over this team, but they're good. They're really good, no doubt. So, yep, they won, but I'm happy for Ryan Day. He's got a lot of crap on his back, over these past couple of weeks since that Michigan game. He was basically playing for his job, coaching for his job. So you got to be happy for a guy like that. But I mean, Notre Dame will be back. Like, this is going to be a powerhouse program now because they don't got to play a conference championship, so they can't like lose seeding because of that. You kind of just got to judge them on what they do in the regular season. And it's going to be pretty good because Marcus Freeman is a great coach. They were just a little outmatched. This was a bad matchup for Notre Dame. But credit to them, they came fighting back. But yeah, I think there is a problem in the college football landscape where these national championship games aren't particularly close. I know we need some games where there's a little bit of intrigue because, I mean, you'll always have those diehard fans will watch them. Like, I'll watch it. I kind of turned it off here and there because I'm just like, this game's not close. But, like, I think the past 7 national championships have not been close games. I think that needs, I don't know how to change that, but that needs to change. But overall, I felt like the college football playoff was a pretty big success. A lot of good close games just made it more interesting because even though the 4-team playoff also had some good games, it's just like, all right, so you win one game and you're already in, just gives people more chance. And I think we saw the best team win the national championship. But you can't say that the other teams were screwed because they had a chance. So, unless of course you're an Alabama fan, which you are assuredly screaming that Alabama would have beat Ohio State. So, yeah. Ohio State, congratulations. You win 34-23, get the national championship. So yeah, happy for Ryan Day, happy for Will Howard, all those guys. They got Jeremiah Smith for 2 more years, which is insane. That guy's such a beast, so we'll see how they can do next year. But yeah, good season of college football. We'll see what happens in the future with this format and, where the sport goes. Moving on, I wanted to talk about the Ben Johnson hire. So obviously last year, Bears, Matt Eberflus, head coach Matt Eberflus, not great. Any Bears fan will tell you that they're not very happy with him. So they fired him in like the end of November. Now they got Ben Johnson. So we'll see how that plays out. But let's give my quick thoughts on it. I think this goes two different ways for the Bears, and it can go 2 different ways, I should say. Either he's an offensive guru, which obviously we know, but either he can just become a coach because he's not going to have time to constantly look at the film and develop plays. So he's going to have to get guys on his staff who think just like him, can look at the film, his offensive coordinator, stuff like that. But he needs to become the Dan Campbell. He can't be Ben Johnson in Chicago. He has to be Dan Campbell. He has to set the culture, do all that stuff, because that's what the Bears need. They need a culture. They've had a losing culture for a very long time. And the other thing is, this doesn't change the personnel choices by Ryan Poles and the ownership. They need to build this team through the trenches, and it starts this draft and this free agency. Because Ben Johnson had a team that was built in the trenches. They had one of the best offensive lines in the league, not to mention Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. And the other thing is, Jared Goff is a wildly different quarterback than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is more talented, but to run Ben Johnson's system, you got to get the ball out of your hands quickly. And that's not something we saw Caleb do very often. So I'm going to be interested to see how that transition goes. I think it'll go smoothly because I think Caleb will be happy to get rid of the ball early, but he just has to see it, I guess. I don't know what the problem was there. So I think it could work, but if they don't go out there and seriously attack the offensive line position, in the draft and free agency, then they just don't want to win, because you can't just say, oh, we got Ben Johnson, our problems are solved. That's not how it works. You have to protect Caleb. He got sacked the most in the league this year. And now some were his fault, but most were not. So you gotta find a way to upgrade the O-line position so your offense can actually look good. And the other thing, I heard some people talking about this. This is no longer Caleb Williams' team. This is Ben Johnson's team. It's not going to be, Caleb is good. Oh, that's because it's Ben Johnson. It's not going to be because Caleb, it's not going to, if they start winning, it's not going to be because of Caleb. It's going to be Ben Johnson, because we saw what Caleb was like without a good offensive play caller. Not great. So, with Ben Johnson, he's going to be the new savior of Chicago if he can. So I think he'll be fine. I think they'll have some success, but it's just this isn't as much. This is just the first step in putting together a puzzle. We got our coach. All right, perfect. Number one guy on the market. Happy for the Bears fans. Good. But you gotta build the trenches if you want to win. You don't have to have a perfect offensive line, but just like the Commanders, you got to try. They went out there, they tried. You got to try to build for this team, not just get him more perimeter weapons that don't do anything. So I think this could work, and we'll see where it goes in the offseason. But he's also bringing in Dennis Allen as his D coordinator and probably Darren Rizzi as his special teams coordinator. So those are two great hires. Those are really good hires. If that is what transpires. So I think they're putting together a good roster, but they gotta continue to do so. Good roster, good coaching, so they can actually win come next year and develop Caleb, which is a serious concern right now. But on the Lions side of things, it's tough for them because, this felt like their year to actually win it before they lose their coaches. Obviously, they were not able to do so. So now Ben Johnson's gone. Aaron Glenn will probably be gone. So, I know Dan Campbell said that he's not going to go elsewhere for a new offensive coordinator. He's going to just keep guys in that know the offense, run the same way as Ben Johnson, and I think they'll be fine because their personnel is elite. So I think they'll be able to be fine and keep going on offense. But obviously, it's a big loss. This is one of the best play callers in the league, if not the best. So. But I think they'll be fine. Dan Campbell has also called plays before. So I think the most important part is just keeping the culture together, and they got the right culture. So I think they'll be fine as far as that goes. But no doubt a big loss. Aaron Glenn going, he's a good D coordinator, but, there's plenty of them out there. So I would not be panicking if I was a Lions fan right now. I think they'll be fine, not the end of the world. So that's what I think there. And finally today, I just wanted to talk about the Baseball Hall of Fame. For this year, you had Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner. And that's good, Obviously, Ichiro deserves to get in, all three of these guys. CC Sabathia was always a really good team player when he played. Billy Wagner. I don't know who the candidates were to get in, but anyway. And there were some other guys. Let's see here. You had Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, Chase Utley, Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, Felix Hernandez. Interesting. So, yeah. Um, it's very interesting. There was like one um, player who decided not to vote for Ichiro Suzuki, and I'm like, so this guy's just trying to be different? Like, I don't know. I just hate when that happens. It's like, dude, vote for him. Like, he was one vote away from being unanimous, and it's like, what? It makes no sense. And it's just like, dude, he's a Hall of Famer. Just vote him in. Like, do you actually think he's not a Hall of Famer? Anyway, I don't know. I just thought that was pretty stupid. Um, but yeah, congratulations to these three guys. Um, Baseball Hall of Fame is hard to get into. It's not an open door. And there's a lot of good players that don't get in, and even if they do get in, it's not for a long time. So, we'll see how that goes next year. See who gets in next year. But happy for these guys. Ichiro, first Japanese-born player to be elected in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which is crazy. That's really cool stuff right there. So, just wanted to briefly touch on that. And the other thing I want to touch on in baseball, actually, is the Dodgers. Real quickly. It is becoming like it seems like the Dodgers have just turned salary cap off. Like they're playing MLB The Show. Even though there's no salary cap, that's just like an example, an analogy. It's just insane. First they get the guy from Japan, I think it was, the pitcher. Can't remember his name. Now they get Tanner Scott from somewhere in the league, but he's closer, like best pitcher in free agency. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. They're just paying for a super team at this point. I think they have the most deferred money in MLB history, and it's like over like hundreds of millions of dollars has just been deferred. And it's like, so they're paying nothing right now. And it's just insane. Just insane. Like, it makes the sport almost unwatchable. It's just like they're just paying for players nonstop at every turn. It's like, I don't know, man. This they need to implement something, or this could get out of hand. Like they're just gonna have a super team that's gonna win every year. But the Dodgers. I did say to my friend, the Dodgers, they haven't always won, even with good teams, but this team feels different because it is truly a super team. Like they have such good players and they keep buying more. So, I don't know. I really talk as an Astros fan, we cheated the game. This isn't cheating the game, but, feels pretty close. So, yeah, regardless, just wanted to talk about that for a second. As the football season comes to a close, just let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about. Obviously, we'll cover NFL off season, but more than that, like I want to cover other sports. It's just kind of hard right now. Not a lot going on. Baseball hasn't even started yet. Basketball, I'm not very interested in. Hard to watch. Hockey, I'll watch some of the Utah games. But I don't really know what's going on, what people would be interested in, any hockey fans. So any hockey fan, baseball fan, NBA fans, let us know what you want us to talk about. And we'll talk about that as the football season comes to an end, because we need more content here to talk about, as there's not as many games. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, like I said. Check out YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Twitter for short form content and announcements, stuff like that. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.